Political parties are said to be the backbone of any democratic system, so serving as platforms for political participation, leadership recruitment, and policy formulation. For democracy to thrive, parties must be institutionalized, transparent, and driven by internal democracy. In Nigeria, political parties face several challenges, including weak internal democracy, lack of ideological distraction, money-driven politics, godfatherism, and rampant party defections. These issues are known to undermine democratic consolidation and public trust in the political system. Apparently, there is an urgent need to examine these challenges critically and explore pathways towards building stronger, more accountable political institutions. Will political parties continue as election-winning machines controlled by a select few, or can they evolve into true platforms for leadership, governance, and national development? We shall be providing answers to these and more on the program today. I am Ezenwawagu. Welcome to Electoral Reform Half Hour on NTA News 24 Abuja. This program is brought to you by Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa, PACA, with support from MacArthur Foundation. Our guest tonight is Chief Kenneth Udeze. He is the national chairman of the Action Alliance AA, a Nigerian political party. He previously served as the national legal advisor for the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC Nigeria, with a strong background in party administration and legal affairs. He has played a key role in navigating internal disputes, legal challenges, and strategic reforms within the AA, reinforcing its presence in the political landscape. It's my pleasure to welcome you, Chief Udeze.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, it's exciting to have you. And I followed your rich trajectory within political party and political party formation in Nigeria.
Yeah.
What has it been for you?
It's been a wonderful experience. I must tell you, though it's not, we passed through a checkered history. Let me use Action Alliance as a basis. At least, as you may know, Action Alliance is one of the oldest registered political party in Nigeria, talking about the 19 registered political parties we have today in Nigeria. If you recall, AA was registered in 2005, August 29th. And if you look at the 19 registered political parties, we have about 3 political parties that are, I would say, that are senior brothers to Action Alliance. Others are, parties that came after, we came into existence. Action Alliance has been in the Nigerian political landscape, and we have really, contributed immensely in deepening democracy in Nigeria. When this party was registered in 2005, I started as a mere party member. I later got involved to become the national secretary of the party, elected the national secretary of the party in one of the convention held in Adamasingba Stadium in Oyo State in Ibadan, when the first national chairman, Senator Suleiman Salawu, a Second Republic senator, was the first national chairman of the party. And I emerged as his national secretary. I have served 3 to 4 national chairmen of Action Alliance, from Salawu to Dr. Ganiyu Dela Ajadi, from Ganiyu Dela Ajadi to JCI Senator Sunda Anifowoshe Kelani, before Ibiyemi Oteboye, before I became the national chairman elected in sometime in 2017, here in Abuja. On the course of my service to party administration, we have learned a lot. One thing people keep saying about political parties that in Nigeria, in our client, parties don't have political ideology. I keep wondering, why will you say parties don't have political ideology? Any party registered in Nigeria today surely have political ideology, because when people gather, when individuals gather to register a party, to form a political party and register it before INEC, they must have come up with their vision, their mission, their manifesto, and what have you. Like what we have, we are a kind of welfareist party. and masses party. We are welfare-oriented, and ours is just to make sure that we do everything within the common good to provide, to provide avenue where people can come and contest election and, aspire to get to the highest office in the land. So we have really participated actively in what is happening in the Nigerian political system, though it's not been easy. There is no party in Nigeria that you will not record one or two internal party squabbles. AA have also gotten the bite of its own. It's not been easy, but we'll thank God that at least Supreme Court have rested issue that has to do with leadership tussle in Action Alliance. So now we are really gearing up, working hard to see how we can make impact in the off-season election coming up in Anambra before we can now focus ourselves to what will take place in 2027.
Excellent. I can see how much you can actually chest thump on the issue of being institutional memory for the AA.
Sure.
Looking at your journey.
Sure.
But I'm amazed that you've stayed true to AA.
Sure.
In spite of all the pressure. So what was it, understanding the space of defections? I've seen political party chairmen who have moved from one party to the other in the course of all of this. Yes. What has kept you in this political party?
I believe strongly in being a consistent individual. What you believe in, just like I mentioned, issue that has to do with party ideology. When you respect the ideology of your party, the vision of your party, and adhere strictly to the party constitution, the constitution that binds all the members of the party together, there is no need moving from one party to the other. I believe one of the reasons why you see either party chairman jumping from one party to the other, or probably politicians, jumping from one party to the other, is just a matter of quest for power. And that is the reason why when you come to our climb here, nobody talks about the vision or the ideology of parties. Everybody is interested on what to do to win election. Nobody is talking about the ideology of political party, the vision, and the mission why such parties have been registered. Because in our climb here, it's all about a quest for power. And that, makes deteriorate the essence of political party administration. When you will see Mr. A this night singing praises with the name of his party, only for maybe one or two things happen, you didn't win the ticket of your party, the next day in the morning you're singing the praises of a party you have been criticizing all along. It's crazy in our country. But what has kept us, we believe that the more you continue in the line where you have been walking, people, you think Nigerians don't watch you? Nigerians look at some of the antecedents and characters of some of the people who are engaged in party politics. And I believe it's speaking for us. At least if you see what happened when, for instance, when in the chair, in as much as the Supreme Court most recently, cancelled and nullified the election that took place in Rivers State. If you look at the political game that took place in Rivers State, people were shocked that after 23 parties were declared for APP, in the most recent election, which the Supreme Court cancelled, one local government was suspended to the next day, and people were shocked that AA was announced the next day as a party that won that Eche local government. It's because of the kind of political arithmetic and political understanding we had with the people of Rivers State, the people of Eche. So I believe consistency helps people who are truly out to make sure they build their party structure in order to make sure they win an election, because that's what political parties are mainly all about. In as much as it's good to work with the ideologies of the party, the vision of the party, just like within AA, if you ask me, we are not one of the big parties, so to speak. They consider some of us as smaller parties, but that doesn't really matter. If all these parties are existing and we're existing, look at what have translated from the Fourth Republic to date. This party was, like I told you, we were registered in 2005, and we have been listed. Most parties have been deregistered. So it has been a checkered history. We have been, moving into the murky.
I understand that. I follow it very clearly.
Thank you.
So away from the AA, and your survivalist, your
instincts.
Instincts.
Yeah.
Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, the speaker.
President Speaker,
is co-sponsoring a bill in the National Assembly to regulate political parties, registration and all the rest, which is actually part of what Justice Uwais
reform report
recommended in 2007.
Sure.
And that means that responsibility should be taken away from INEC to this. What are your thoughts around it? With your rich experience in party administration, do you think it will be helpful, or do you think it is just going to create another avenue for...
Well, in all sincerity, Zenwa, the bill being co-sponsored by the Speaker is a very good legislative agenda coming from the Speaker and some of his co-sponsors. Removing... we all understand that INEC is well overburdened by its functions. And it will going to be to the interest of internal party democracy if some of this burden is being relieved from the commission. But where we have a challenge is even when you create this other body to regulate the affairs of political parties by way of registering and funding, the question is, this body you are creating now, is it not going to be within executive influence? Because at the end of the day, it is still the executive that will determine the people, the individuals who are going to man that same body that is being created. Then how you have to consider whether these people are partisan or non-partisan, members of the society. How do you regulate the people, the individuals you are going to bring into that body? That is the place where political parties are having this challenge. Then they say this popular saying that the angel you know is better than the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. So the question is, who are the people, when these bodies are being created, it's still going to be within the whims and caprices of the executive to appoint those who are going to man it. And I must tell you that some of the challenges, based on experience, most of the challenges political parties have internally is as a result of some staff of the commission that are compromised. If you look at basically 90% of the political party crisis in Nigeria today, be it in APC or whatever, is being, is under the conspiracy of some staff, some compromised staff of the commission, who actually meddle into the internal political activities.
How do you mean?
Yeah, I have to be very honest with you. Just let me just give you this example. When in 2022, Justice Enenche of the FCT High Court gave an order warning INEC not to deal with any person with respect to the leadership of Action Alliance, not to deal, even collect letter from anybody, apart from the leadership of Chief Barrister Kenneth Udeze. That is an order of court. And less than a week after that order is given, you still find the commission collecting letter by way of smuggling from people.
Was there another court order?
Yeah.
Because for instance, I know a political party with almost 100 cases.
Of course. I know the party you are talking about.
I know 100. So,
yes.
So most times the challenge with political parties is the litigation happy trend that you see, where people just go to court even for relevant. And so INEC, for instance, is now faced with,
which order to respect and obey.
Which order to respect, which not to obey. And then in the course of it, sometimes they wait it out and say, okay, like your party issue, which has been rested by the Supreme Court, for instance.
Yes.
Nobody can go to INEC now and say anything.
Absolutely.
But if there are courts, different court cases in different places, it opens the window.
Yes.
So many times for me, and I don't know if you agree, it's more to do with the litigation happiness of the political parties than even the regulation that you talked about.
Yes.
But we're going to go on a short break. When we come back, Electoral half hour would continue.
Okay, sure. You're welcome. Thank you.
Glad to have you back. We are still speaking with Chief Kenneth Udeze, Chief Barrister Kenneth Udeze.
Absolutely, got it right.
The chairman of AA,
Thank you.
the Action Alliance, party funding.
Yes.
Just like you said,
Yeah.
a lot of people refer to you as smaller
Party,
parties.
yeah.
Smaller parties, not because, well, because of your
Don't have the financial
resources.
Yeah.
So how has it been for AA?
Well, it's not been easy, and for us in AA, incidentally, we came into power when the issues of subvention, party subvention, have been cancelled. We no longer, political parties in Nigeria no longer receive any subvention from the government. Neither do they receive subvention from INEC or from anywhere. So you find out that at the end of the day, the bulk of the financial spendings in political parties, like that of Action Alliance, rest on the shoulder of the national chairman and maybe few individuals.
What about party membership?
Yeah, party membership. You see,
do they pay dues?
Of course, they pay dues. But the question is that if you look at the dues we pay, how many people, circumstances that leads to payment of dues by party members, you look at the number of people you have in the party. Well, for instance, in Action Alliance, our registration as membership is 100 naira. And for you to pay your dues, your annual dues, it's relatively 200 naira. But the most important, how many people pay? If you calculate this one, you find out you may have on record 4 million registered members of the party, of AA. But how many of these 4 million pay their dues? And
whose responsibility is it?
It's responsibility responsibility of members who have enrolled as members of the party to pay their dues. And when they don't pay dues, you cannot. That will not make your party to stop functioning. So what we do, the vice means, like for instance, when I came, we made sure we encourage members to join cooperative societies, even the party. There's the particular committee we call the AA Welfare Committee. These people are saddled with responsibility of looking for how to move into society and engage themselves in some business. We engage in agricultural, practices. For instance, we have a place where we have a communal land where we farm. We engage people, some of our members, in somewhere in Anambra State, we'll farm. At the end of the annually, we'll harvest and whatever we put into the party. So you don't wait for big shots to come. Most money bags, they only come where the soup has already been prepared. And when you get it right, for instance, most recently, they've seen where we are going to. Financial challenges is there, but that does not stop us from moving forward. Some of us who also have second address, what we do, whatever thing we get, we also, because of the love we have for the party.
So what do you think needs to happen to change that? There are electoral reform issues.
Yes.
I'm not for. I knew why the subventions were withdrawn.
Yes.
From the political parties.
Sure.
Yeah. What do you suggest? You've been around, and I want your honest view on that. What do you think can be done to change the narrative on political party membership and funding?
Yeah, the only thing that ought to be done is for members of political parties, the continuous admonition of members of political party to pay their dues, getting members, those that love the principles and the vision of the party, to make personal donations. Like we have few individuals once in a while. Just most recently after our convention, one young man donated some party buses to the party, maybe in the state, and encouraging the party, getting a party headquarters, paying for party headquarters. Most of these things it's not something for a place like Abuja that if you want to pay for your rent, you pay not less than something like 10.5 million. It's not something you can just, with a tap of hand you get it. It's those that loved the way you manage your party, some of the things you do, and we are also trying to make sure sell the party, online wise, making sure we get people either that like you, like the party, make comment in your handles, your Twitter handles, some of these things, respond. We are trying to do that, and also encouraging, some of our membership from outside Nigeria to make sure that they support in whichever way capacity they have. When the bride is looking beautiful, you see a lot of all these big guys, come into the party.
And I hope this bride will be as beautiful as it comes in November.
Absolutely, we hope so.
So I did promise I was going to have a light-hearted conversation.
Thank you so much for that.
Yes, but I want you to, because that's a conversation that is gaining currency.
Okay.
The issue of appointment of resident electoral commissioners, and there are different.
Sure.
The people still talk about 2007 Justice Way's recommendation, about NJC and all of those things. I know you're strong in IPAC, very strong in IPAC, and so what are your thoughts? What are the things? Are there new thinking around the issue of appointment for you?
Well, if you, just like you say, whether there's new thinking, at a point when when this issue came up, I got back home, and one of our IPAC meeting where this issue of the appointment of REC, not just REC, even the chairman of the INEC, to make sure we isolate it from the executive influence. And this thought keep ringing. In Nigeria today, we have men of integrity who are not partisan. Talking about civil society organizations like your own organization, other civil society organization, talking about the dons in the university, talking about the NJC, you just mentioned, MBA. There are critical men that are known to be women of integrity in Nigeria. What stops Nigerian people from reaching out to get these people lock themselves inside one room and on their own decide among themselves who can be recommended for the position of INEC chairman, including at the state level? Because you're continuously allowing the executive to appoint some of these people. I mean, it's just a joke.
So what does the National Assembly do? What role does the National Assembly play?
It is the role they play is to aggregate all this recommendation and come up with a bill. I'm so surprised that what we're talking about is the bill or how INEC, how you can regulate. I mean, political parties. Or maybe conducting an election in one day. I mean, what about those critical areas? Critical area that has to do with the appointment of REC and the INEC chairman.
So that's why I'm telling you that the president nominates.
Yes.
And sends these names to the National Assembly.
Yes.
And there are other processes that those names go through before they still get to the National Assembly.
Yes.
Those different places where they go to,
yes,
is it an abdication of responsibility on their part? Because if you do know that the National Assembly will have to vet, and the National Assembly has committees on intelligence, has committees on electoral matters, has different committees that, with requisite experience to be able to look at the nominees from the executive. Because the tendency is for people to always think that the nomination is entirely
that of Mr. President.
That of the Mr. President. So if the president can influence all these stratas, what happens to some of these suggestions that we are making?
It becomes a wasted effort, because at the end of the day, it boils down to who the president nominates. And we're talking about the members of the National Assembly, scrutinizing the people that. Who are you really scrutinizing? If Mr. President is interested in a particular person to be nominated, it's all about a midnight call. Gentlemen, this is where we are going. And at the end of the day, they will tell you one or two stories, and that will be all.
Chief Kenneth Udeze, Chief Barrister, I have to always please Chairman Action Alliance. This is where we draw the curtain on this episode of Electoral Reform Half Hour, and we wish to thank you very specially for coming on the program.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure having you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, my brother.
For coming on the program. Electoral Reform Hour is brought to you by Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa with support from MacArthur Foundation. We are live every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. with a repeat program on Sunday at 2 p.m. You can contact us on our local media handles showing on your screen. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
I am Ezenwawagu.
Wow.
Thank you again.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you for making it.
Thank you for making it interactive.